Hello everybody, this is Nick from Carillon Audio Blog in Brutabello. I just wanted to talk about my Open Electribe sample pack number 4. And, excuse me, I'm going to have a list with all the various samples in the pack as a separate thing for you to look at and download, which might be a helpful reference. But what I really wanted to talk about is using the Electribe Editor to really make things a little bit easier for yourselves. Personally, what I like to do whenever I create a new sample pack, and this of course all relates to your own stuff, it doesn't relate to the sample pack exclusively, but you can utilize this technique for your own sample packs that you create yourself. The Electribe Editor, what is so cool about this thing, and I love to do, is I go into my patterns and I select everything, and I generally like to work at a particular tempo, which happens to just be 82 BPM. So I could go in here and change this, and the Electribe Editor is being kind of funny for me for some reason, but what it does is it'll change that default value for every single pattern in the sample pack, or within the ESX file. You can also set a global swing, pattern length, beats, things like that. Your roll type, everything here is selectable, and once you choose it, you select these respective buttons basically to implement that change on all of them. Like I say, I like to be at 82, so I'm going to put it back, and I like to swing at 56%. It's giving me these pop-ups. I have no idea why. You can also set your global effects, if you want every single effect number 1 to be a reverb, etc. Now, one thing that I like to do when I'm dealing with the Electribe is I always keep the same types of drums in the same slots, I should say. So drum part number 1 and 2 are always kicks. Number 3 and 4 are always snares. Number 5 is usually something else. 6A and B are hi-hats, and 7A and B are whatever else I've got to throw in there. That's pretty much the way that always works with me. And instead of dialing in that same thing every single time I want to play with it, what I like to do is create a default pattern. And it's difficult to do this in the Electribe, so I do it back in the Electribe Editor. I'll take that particular pattern, and I'm just hitting Option and dragging. It's going to give me an error log. Who knows why. But once I get a few of them like this, then I select that small group by holding the top, shift and click the bottom. That selects all of those, and I'll Option drag that again, and it'll give me the error. Then I'll select all of that, and as you can see, it's going to become exponential at this point. Pretty soon I'm going to fill up the entirety of all of them, and what that's going to allow me to do, I would probably leave the name blank, which I can actually do. I can, again, select those all and type the name as blank and just overwrite those. What that's going to allow me to do is every single pattern that I pull up will be at the respective tempo, swing, length, beat division, the rolls, the effects, even there will be kicks on 1 and 2, snares on 3 and 4, and I might still get in and choose which kick and snare I want to get to happen, but it immediately puts me that much more ahead of the game, so I don't have to think about, oh, let me pull up a kick on number 1 and a kick on number 2 and play with the pitch, and it just makes it much easier. So what I would suggest is you do that, you make your own default pattern, and within this specific sample pack, I would recommend that you go through and highlight all of these tracks, all of these patterns, excuse me, and set the default tempo that you like to work with, the default swing, and all of these, and of course you make sure you hit these if you change the value, and that will actually apply it. And that's going to make it so much easier for you to get going. The Electribe Editor does certain things like that really well. Other things I find are a little glitchy, but besides that, it's very handy. As you can see with this, you can also set global parameters in here, like the arpeggiator control, MIDI channels, things like that, pitch bend range. One thing that I like to do too within my patterns, I have no idea why it's giving me that. I like to change all of my patterns to have the arpeggiator scale as an octave, because the way I like to play with it is just I'll hold down a note or two, and then that way I can use the slider to jump up an octave or down an octave. So all of a sudden I've got everything still in pitch, playing the notes that I want it to play, but I can jump in octaves without having to scale on the keyboard of the Electribe, without having to pan over to the next page to get the octave up or the octave down. So that's one thing that I like to do, and you'll notice that a lot of these are set like that. All of them are set like that. A quick showing of info, all this stuff that's going on inside this particular sample set is that we're using 264 seconds out of the 285 seconds available. So tons of stuff in there. Again, a lot of them, as you'll notice, they've been sampled at a higher speed and then pitched back down. So essentially it's giving me more time. So a sample like this that otherwise would be 22 seconds is now 11 seconds or whatever it is. So I've doubled the amount of memory in a lot of these things. And that's how I managed to fit so much stuff in there. There's a ton of single cycle oscillators, loops, percussion loops, glitch loops, circuit bent stuff, and all these great kind of vinyl kicks and snares. And then I've thrown in these stacks, which include kind of more aggressive sort of sounding drums, more modern sort of stuff for glitch hop and that sort of thing. But personally, I like to use the vinyl style stuff more. So that's why I started building this sample pack for myself, and then realized I should just go ahead and sell it to people who wanted to use it. So anyway, hopefully that gives you a little insight into what you can do with the Open Electribe Editor, and something that you might want to do if you purchase this sample pack from me, that you might want to change those settings to suit yourself and make production much quicker on the Electribe. Anyway, thanks for watching. Again, my name is Nick from Bruto Bello and Carillon Audio Blog, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my to my blog if you can. You'll get updates whenever I put a new post up there. And if you're making good music, send me a link to your music. I'd love to hear your stuff. And if you've got any comments for me, again, reach out to me. I'm always there receiving and responding to emails, so I love to hear from people. Anyway, have a good one, and see you around.